Hello everyone, my name is İlayda PINARLI and I will talk about the topic of my article that I have wrote for my Urban Environment and Design 3 class, instructed by Semih Yıldız. First of all, I would like to talk about what we have done in this class and the methods I have used through the semester while working on my article. Today, designing for a sustainable future is no longer just to reduce negative effects we cause on the nature of our planet. It has become a race as it is a rescue mission. The approach to be used in design should be based on understanding of the planet's ecology and natural systems and be the ultimate basis for addressing local and global environmental degradation issues and secondary issues such as climate change. In this course, we have discussed the mission and take a grasp of the situation and come up with a solution using sustainable architecture as future architects. To be able to fully comprehend the topic of eco-high-rises and its main ideas, I have used the documentaries the teacher provided for us, like from drive links and research, to be able to understand the assessments. Furthermore, after investigating the documents from there, I have moved on doing researches on internet to be able to gather more specific information about the topics that I have worked on. I gathered lots of articles, journals, web documentaries, theses all over the world from both English and Turkish language, and even one document from Spanish language. These resources were used efficiently and helped me to form the article with the strong grounds. I studied these informations using upper reference and writing system, gave the references to the related article. I collided all of this information and formed an abstract introduction at the fore of it and a conclusion at the end of my article. I worked on a general topic of eco-high-rise buildings. Until the midterm, I examined and explained Norman Foster Commerzbank building, Ken Young and Freedom Tower, which has been built after the Twin Towers. After the midterms, I have worked on my article, which discussed whether our high-rises are good or bad, both physically and psychologically. Through the time, an unprecedented scientific change has emerged, causing the world to become a rapidly growing manufacturing industrial village. The demand for the growth and the intensifying urban texture has been diffusing all around the world. People are emigrating from villages to crowded cities, causing rapid growth of population. The land becoming more and more scarce and expensive, especially at the city centers, leaving nowhere to build, but only leaving the option to build upwards where these tall buildings began to mark the sky. As an inevitable consequence of increasing population and intensifying urbanization, high-rise buildings have become more common in many cities and have replaced large local buildings areas. They provide the opportunity to control the density of cities with small footprints. Such reasons are adopting to high-rise buildings can be solutions for the high-density problems and the lack of available land for developing. Therefore, a high-rise building is a structure that occupies less space in X and Y planes and has a small roof area and has facades that extend significantly in Z-plane. The most basic feature that distinguishes these buildings from the low-rise and middle-rise buildings is that high-rise buildings require in-depth and spatial engineering in their design and construction due to their height. They replace vast areas of vernacular houses and become much more prevalent in many cities. But sometimes high-rise buildings are not meant to answer such problems. Instead, they refer to power, status, prestige, where they play an important role in the meet the demands of occupiers for large and prestigious headquarters with emphasized aesthetics rather than an efficient design and development. Most of their design is tied to the business equation, where the primary factors are economy, investment, and efficiency. High-rise buildings are prone to cause problems as well as a solution to the intense urbanization. They can disturb the ecological balance and they also affect the psychology of the individuals living there. High-rise buildings, if lacks an ecological approach, can cause damage to its natural environment and its inhabitants. Furthermore, these buildings are blamed for mental illnesses and crimes due to its psychological impacts on the individuals. In my article, I have discussed the psychological, physiological, and ecological effects of high-rise buildings have on individuals and the natural environment, debating the importance and adequacy of the ecological approach in reducing these effects, and also using them as tools to achieve high density with successful integration into our urban context. So, why understanding the importance of high-rise buildings are important? Because of the globalization, the environment that people prevail is constantly changing, affecting this physical and psychological and social environment. In architecture, the concept of sustainability aims to minimize overall usage of water, energy, and electricity to enable the control of resource applications like economic and social structure to ensure continuity, protect health and comfort of the human beings. When constructing high-rise buildings, especially at the first examples, consider their functional efficiency instead of and no attention was paid to how such large and long masses would have an impact on the environment, and also this created devastating effects on the environment in time. And for such reasons, ensuring a sustainable design for high-rise buildings needs to be under debate. Thus, to be able to provide more energy-efficient constructions, it is required to be implement a new balance between these factors, which are as well as motivated by both environmental and economic concerns. To be able to fully comprehend the influence of high-rise buildings, it is important to acknowledge the impacts they cause to the three pillars of sustainability, which are environment, social, and economic. In modern world, energy has the key role in social and economical improvement. Also, environmental and ecological concerns such as global warming, air pollution, energy shortage, urban sprawl, overflowing landfills, water shortage, and disease have expanded way beyond the urban problem of the consumption of the non-renewable energy resources. What the sky can offer with the high-rise buildings and skyscrapers are the impacts they have on the environment, both physically and social environment should be an important question, which also can be considered as a problem to better evaluate the effects of the environmental factors, which can vary with altitude and have consequent effect on the annual total of the building's cooling and heating systems, thus affecting their energy usage. To put it in another way, the problem is that architects and constructors of high-rise buildings have to pay a great attention to significant potential of their buildings via their vast facades. The attention on passive cooling systems keeps increasing as non-passive cooling systems are responsible for depletion and immense amounts of electric energy, especially at the summer. Some studies have shown that the peak loads of day may be reduced at the night by night ventilation. This effect is supported by natural long-wave radiation, which is also a passive cooling system which cools the temperature. The effects of natural radiation decrease as density and height of the building mass of urbanism increases. High-rise buildings tend to store solar energy during the day and release that solar energy slowly with the local winds, especially during the night. The distance of vertical between the wind, which is cool, and above the building roof are the ground surfaces long, resulting in the lower radiant cooling rate at night. Similar buildings height with the height of the trees 12 meters to 15 meters, night vented cooling penetrates down to ground level. Buildings are the main source of the global warming since they consume 48% of all energy. The 40% of it is operating the buildings and the rest is caused from the construction process. Furthermore, the size and the density of the urban areas affects the local temperatures. Urban centers have higher temperatures than rural areas or suburbs of countryside because of the mass they have. The largest number of temperatures of urban areas occur during the nights of the clear and still air, which is defined as the urban heat island. Moreover, density of high-rise buildings in city centers causes dense heat production by the high concentrated land usage such as lighting, heat exhaust, and contribute to the increasement of the urban heat island. Where the height of the high-rise pedestrians may experience physical discomfort due to the high speed of the wind and the turbulent wind it causes the front and sides of these buildings. Besides the cooling and chilling effect of the wind, it causes disturbances walking by blowing dirt, dust, and leaves and such destructions. Moreover, the rain penetration due to the wind's lifting effect over the windward facade of the high-rise building's upper floors and the whole leeward facade. The problem it causes through the wind expanded to hearing the plants with the harsh, strong winds, also downwash of chimney flues and erosion of detached of the case of the sea-fronting buildings. High-rise buildings may amplify air pollutants. Since local winds speed within close-range high-rise buildings have high speeds in every season, including summer. The ventilation conditions in the urban context and the major streets with high vehicular traffic have a great impact on the density of air pollutants at the street levels. As velocity and turbulence of the local winds at street levels increases, it causes the polluted air interferes with the clean air flowing above the urban canopy. High-rise buildings are accused for many problems. Some of these problems based on human psychology and poor social relations, behavior problems, fear, dissatisfaction, stress, reduced helpfulness, and hindered child development. In the research, it is explained high-rise buildings evoke at least 6 fears on the residents. The first of these fears is that the residents themselves or a loved one or neighbors may or will jump from a window of a high point. If such case, whether a tragedy does occur, it is caused by the attention of the media. Perhaps a nightmare has become reality for some people. The second one is the residents fear that they might be trapped inside a high-rise building during a fire, since it may take longer to reach the street. And to evacuate such long buildings are harder compared to the low-rise ones. The third one is the residents look in locations which have active tectonic plates, stress about such buildings to collapse because of an earthquake. The fourth one is that the residents cannot help harboring at least a slight fear of that the building they reside may be attacked, considering the attack on the Twin Towers. The fifth fear is the most of the people who reside in the high-rise buildings, which is one big residence for numerous people, in a sense could be said, the stranger of all kinds share your dwelling, at least the semi-public areas. This fear of strangers leads to fear of crime, creating a lack of social support and feeling of loneliness in the midst of many people. In the high-rise buildings, anonymous interaction creates the objective of possibility of crime. This fear increases when strangers can enter the building. The fact that many high-rises have key and guarded entrances proves that this fear exists even if no outsider manages to enter. The sixth one is large numbers of people in a high-rise building can increase the fear of getting sick from infectious diseases produced by other residents. For example, air and touch, flu, and cold spread more easily when many people share hallway, air, doorknobs, and elevator buttons, which can be a major factor in spreading. To summarize, in my article, I have explained the effects of high-rise buildings have on environment and the people. To realize its objective of it, the articles related on high-rise buildings are related issues and potentials were examined and collected from published works and explained in a non-subjective method. It could be concluded as not all sustainability aspects of the building and the related systems are proportionally affected by the building's high-rise function. The largest number of tall building features in the study were found to affect the effectiveness of the building system positively. So it can be concluded that the most of the tall building features tend to increase the effectiveness of the buildings. It is known that the high-rise buildings consume more energy than buildings with less heights and mass. However, if it is examined in a wider context of urban design, it can be seen that the raw data of energy consumption does not include the whole story. High-rise buildings make more efficient use of urban context and infrastructure while providing a solution to the problem of the urban sprawl. High-rise buildings enable the city to be able to build upwards rather than invading the surrounding countryside areas as proponents of the planning beliefs. Cities, metropolises all around the world are taking some approach and building up innovative high-rise buildings following the principle of sustainable green design to high-rise buildings. Providing inhabitants of high-rise buildings with a convenient and a social balanced environment for living, providing the minimum usage of energy and other resources at the same time, integrating high-rise construction into urban context represents today's one of the greatest challenges. Thank you for listening.